Today is July 1st, which of course means the beginning of the summer 2019 anime season. So I thought, what the hell? How about every day I watch whatever shows come out that day and talk about them for as long as they remain interesting. Go ahead and place your bets below on how long you think I can keep this up. Today there were two new shows that had their debuts, the first of them being To the Abandoned Sacred Beasts, which is a war/post-war show about a bunch of soldiers who have some kind of special beast power. They can transform into these big-ass, badass beasts and tear through other people like it's nothing. The first episode centers on this squadron as they, are employed throughout this war. They are used to win the war, essentially. However, their beast powers slowly cause them to go insane and sort of give in to the beast. And now that the war is over, they don't really have a place in the new society that's formed. A lot of them are losing their minds, and the guy who is the leader of their squadron has to basically go around putting them down. There's a little bit more to it, but I don't want to spoil the twists and turns that happen throughout this first episode, which is largely set up for what the actual plot of the show is going to be. Now, on the plus side, this show has some pretty engaging elements. One of them is that a lot of motherfucking people die really gruesomely. There is a lot of just big monsters tearing through crowds of people and using pretty cool powers to do so. There's people dying in pretty vicious ways at the hands of pretty interesting powers, getting dissolved by snake venom or crushed in a spider's web, stuff like that. It's, if you like to watch people die, it's a great way to watch people die without being like overly bleak or grimdark or anything. However, there are a number of downsides, such as that the dialogue is unbearably corny. I mean, this show, it's not like incompetently written. It follows the basic rules of screenplay, so to speak. There's lots of dramatic turns, there's lots of big emotions. It's easy to understand the motivations of the characters and what's going on in the story. It's just that it's incredibly basic and incredibly corny. All of the characters' personalities are just so straightforward, lacking in nuance. There's just like so much big bombastic kind of dialogue and emotions, but the personality of the show in general, I would say, is geared towards badass action. The main character is put in a position where he's the brave leader of this group of people who all look up to him. They see him as like the best guy. They all want what's best for him, and he sort of gets betrayed. He loses everything that mattered to him, and so now he's on a quest for revenge, and he's just an angry, jacked dude out to kill a lot of fucking guys. So I know certain people who will absolutely love this show. Anybody who would think this main character is a cool character, anybody who would like resonate with him, find him to be admirable, find him to be fun to watch, you're going to love this show. If just the general conceit of a revenge story with lots of gore and cool monster transformations. Oh, I forgot to mention, the transformation sequences are actually pretty cool. I don't know how many of those we're going to see throughout the show, but they're not like crazy intense animation necessarily. It's just the thought put into how the body would morph into another form is really interesting. But there is another problem, which is that the show is ugly as sin. And it's not even that it's so badly animated per se. It's just, the directing wise, it's kind of stiff. There's not a lot of really impressive shot compositions or anything, but like the backgrounds are just very drab. The character designs are very drab and ugly. It's kind of like implied that the beasts are supposed to be ugly on some level, but the character designs are just kind of boring. They're not ugly in like an interesting way. They just got weird splotches on their face here and there, and the girls, of course, are all super hot and have gigantic tits that are out all the time. It's kind of funny how there's one character who, there's a dramatic scene where she, like, pulls a gun out of her lab coat, but it's specifically, like, in her tits, and it's not, doesn't seem logical for it to be there, and then she gets shot in the tits. Just like the fixation on her tits in that scene is really funny considering the drama that's unfolding in the scene. But yeah, so this is definitely like a very masculinely oriented show. You know, it's girls with big tits, big jacked guys tearing through enemies, lots of violence. You know, the blood effects are maybe not the most impressive. Just overall, the show looks drab, but like the fact that the things that happen in the violent scenes are cool is enough to kind of make up for it. Like, ordinarily, this is the type of show I would have dropped immediately if it weren't for the fact that when the monsters were tearing through the people and like using all these unique powers to do so, I was like, that looks cool. Like, I don't see that every day. Too many shows that go a violent route don't push it far enough in the way that this show does. So, you know, I appreciate that as somebody who does just enjoy violent, chaotic scenes of carnage. So, you know, it gave me that. I think I would be willing to watch a little bit more of this show. I don't expect to end up watching the whole thing and loving it, but it also doesn't seem overly predictable, in spite of the fact that the plot is so basic. The fact that there are so many twists and turns just in the first episode, and that it really is just setup. I mean, obviously this is a revenge plot, but there's obviously going to be a lot more to what's going on, but it's not exactly clear what that's going to be. There's a lot of room for questions to be answered. There is a secondary lead character who hasn't been introduced yet, who will be in the second episode, who's this cute little purple-haired girl with a rifle, so that could be fun. Maybe she'll be my favorite. Who knows? But overall, it was okay. I would recommend it only to people who love, you know, the idea of people transforming into monsters and killing lots of guys. Like, if that sounds cool to you, you'll probably have fun. The other new show, which was actually great, is Sonan Desu Ka, which is about 4 thick anime girls who get trapped on an island, and they have to survive on this deserted island. It's a comedy show that didn't really take the route I was expecting, especially because the girls are kind of sexy. There's like a fan servicey element, but it really feels more like one of those like cute girls do a traditionally considered masculine kind of sport, sort of like survival game like Sabagebu, or you know, the mountain climbing show or the camping show Yuru Camp. Like, it's more along those lines in that it's really about survivalism and basically just flexing a textbook level of knowledge about survivalism. So you've got these 4 girls. One of them's the smart one, the sporty one, and the sort of bratty, preppy one. And then the 4th girl, who's the sort of main character, is the survivalist. She is very, like, stone cold, stoic, kind of autistic. Her dad apparently raised her to, like, her dad was like just a survivalist guy, and he put her through like rigorous survival and military training all throughout her upbringing. So she just knows all this shit, and to her it's like automatic. There's not even any thought put into doing the survivalist stuff. She just knows exactly what to do, and all the other girls are of course baffled by this. So our reveal moment of what her nature is has her taking this like flagpole that's on this little wreckage that they are all trapped on, and she sees like a jumping fish in the water, whacks it with the flagpole instantly, wraps it up in her t-shirt and beats the shit out of it so it's nice and bloody, and then strains the blood from the shirt into her mouth to drink it, and like smiling cutely offers it to the other girls, like, want a drink? Here, fresh water I have provided. And they're all like, what in the fuck just happened? And that's basically most of the humor. You know, some of it is kind of raunchy because, you know, survivalism. There's lots of tactics you can use that, if you are not concerned about social graces, are, you know, something you would snap straight to. And that's, again, the main girl has that kind of, you know, she's not really thinking about what would be socially acceptable. She's just thinking about survival. And most of the humor is from like the suddenness by which she does crazy things that the other girls aren't expecting. I laughed a number of times. I thought that the 12-minute length was a perfect amount of time for this style of humor to not get old. I'm really glad that more and more of these kind of single topic comedy shows are not trying to be full-length episodes. I think that this is the type of show that would have gotten boring or just trite if you had to see you know, it extended past that. So really glad for the length. I thought it was entertaining. You know, none of the girls is really my type, but I think a lot of people will just want to watch this for the cute girls. So, you know, it's a good time. I would definitely continue it. Other than that, that was all that really aired today. There was also a Dr. Stone, like, teaser trailer. Dr. Stone and Oh Maidens in Your Savage Season both had, like, 15-minute of the first episode released, I guess. I don't know if that was today or a few days ago, but neither one has been subtitled, unfortunately. I checked out the Dr. Stone one just to see if I thought the show looked like it was going to be good, and it looks pretty good. It has some pretty good music. The backgrounds are really lavish. The voice acting sounded good, so I think it's worth having your hopes up for that one. And I did not check out the Oh Maidens one. I'll just wait for the show to come out. That's it for today's anime. We'll see you tomorrow with tomorrow's anime. If you enjoy this kind of content, be sure to support me on Patreon. For $1, you get into my Discord. $5, you get bonus podcasts. $15, you get to request me to rant about whatever the hell you want. And for $40, you get a care pack that I mail straight to you. Also, stay on the lookout because I'm going to be releasing t-shirts for the first time very soon. I'm just putting an ad for it in this video, even though they're not actually for sale yet, but there will be a video coming out announcing that they're for sale, so subscribe to the channel if you are not already. I don't know why you'd want a t-shirt if you weren't already a subscriber, but what the fuck ever. I'm gonna be selling t-shirts and shit and other stuff. Stick around. Oh, and if you do stick around and you like to hear me talk about shit, you should be listening to Artso Fartso's Whirling Dervish podcast. It's the best goddamn podcast on the goddamn internet, biatch.